Hello everyone and welcome to the annual Cybersecurity Threat Landscape Report brought to you by Network Guardian, your trusted advisor for everything cyber. The importance of cybersecurity and the cybersecurity landscape affects everyone, from the executives down to the end users. It is very important that you understand what it takes to have a good cybersecurity program and what the threats are that you're facing. So here we have the definition of cybercrime. We're going to talk about the perpetrators and the attacks that they use, common misconceptions, don't be a victim, and of course we'll look at some tools. This is going to go over a couple of videos, so it's not going to all happen right here in this one. Looking at cybercrime, it is a broad range of malicious activity of cyberbullying all the way to planting worms and viruses or ransomware in other people's equipment. Usually involves the computers as either a tool or a target for the victim. Data theft is obviously the most common attack in today's cyber world, more so in aerospace and defense and different trades, even in commercial. We have corporate espionage. In most cases, cybercrime causes financial damage. The illegal activity that takes place is on a digital platform. Looking at these updated numbers, and we have the United States at $19.3 trillion of GDP if cybercrime were a country, right? So if the US is doing about 19.39 trillion and cybercrime is coming in at 9.5 trillion for 2024, that's like half, okay? It's larger than other countries altogether. So I would say from France on down, you could just add those up and stack them, and it still would just barely meet the GDP of cybercrime if it were a country. At this rate of growth, we're seeing 9.5 trillion for 2024, 10.5 trillion expected for 2025. The list of vulnerabilities that are coming out are growing. That list is not getting shorter year over year. We are seeing increased growth. Now, why you should care about these types of attacks is customer protection. There's a lot of rules, right? A lot of laws and regulations talking about how to keep customers protected, their information. We've got GDPR for anything across the pond. We have the company reputation, financial costs, right? The cost of the loss, the cost of restoration, and the cost of reputation. We also have product protection. Career damage is going to happen when this happens underneath someone's watch. And in today's world, CISOs have an average lifespan of 18 to 24 months tops. And then they go and move on to something else. So it is important. You only have 1 or 2 budget cycles to get this right. And I urge everyone to look at ways in which you can integrate technology in the direction that your business is going versus band-aiding on solutions. Ransomware victims who pay up can incur steep fines and some civil penalties for negotiating with cyber actors that are on the sanctions list, right? So OFAC makes these regulations and they control foreign assets, and if you inadvertently pay a bad actor because you want to get your data back, you could face some civil penalties here. So I want you to be aware of that. It's always good to never negotiate with these bad actors. I mean, think of them like terrorists. We don't negotiate with those. Always have a solid backup, whether it's air-gapped, immutable, something that you can always restore to. Now we also have different attack vectors. We've got the direct assaults and the sneak attacks, right? We got password attacks, DDoS attacks. We have phishing, ransomware, and just to focus on, what's happening. A lot of this can actually happen to small businesses. It's not always enterprise. They are going after the people that don't have the people or the money to look out over their assets. So according to the Verizon Data Breach Investigations Report of 2024, organized crime was in at 60% as the leading attack category. End users on the inside was 20%, followed by state-sponsored actors and the other group at 10%. Now, for the state-sponsored attackers, sometimes if you're logging into your SIM or you're looking at some type of firewall or logging mechanism, you can actually see when these guys pull into work, because you'll see all the logs, all the hits coming from certain countries or a certain number of IP addresses time and again, looking for holes in your external environment. So how much is your data worth to bad actors? This is really great. Just in, up from 3 billion digital records in 2018. In 2024, we have 29 billion digital records exposed. Out of that, an increase from 2018 from 43% to now almost half of all breaches involved were small to medium-sized businesses. So when you tell me you don't have money or budget or the price is too high, I just don't believe you. And I know this is going to hurt, but you heard it here first. And if I'm rubbing the cat the wrong way, let the cat turn around, because you are going to pay up. Here we see the credit card information is $2 to $5 a record. We see customer PII up to $450 a record. Same thing with employee. We see sales financial information from a company. Its competitive value has no dollar amount because it could be everything. So it's very important to keep that proprietary information, that competitive advantage that sets you apart, private. So what's the impact of downtime? So when it comes to ransomware attacks, MSPs report the cost is 23 times greater than the ransomware requested. So what do? They pay up these ransomware attackers. Hey, here's the money, give us back our data. That's not the way you should do it. One, again, the OFAC violations. The other thing is two, we don't negotiate with cyber terrorists. And number three, you should really have a decent backup and recovery program. And that should be tested quarterly, at least, in different scenarios. So the impact, right? The data's resale value doesn't matter to these guys. The attackers don't really care to sell the data. The whole idea is that they have something of yours, it's hurting you right now, and you need to be back in business. So a lot of businesses paid ransomware, and that is not good. 58%, which means 58% of the business out there should be stopping by and asking questions. How do I stop this? And here, up from, I believe, 59% last year, we have the industries most susceptible to ransomware. We have healthcare that jumped from 59% to 67% year over year. Manufacturing is now 71% increase, and energies and utilities are targeted, but there's no exact percentage provided. And of course, the other industries like construction, farming, etc., that's going to be a lot lower. But look at the healthcare. They are going after that information. So ransomware in Office 365 is on the rise. You have to be careful of that. You have to be careful about what gets attached, attachments, looking at the information when you find it, trusting your senders of email, verifying links. All of that training is in your annual cybersecurity training, which you should be doing this month or have done it this month. And of course, you should be frequenting this at least once a month, 5 to 7 minute video talking about a different type of attack or trend that's happening, so it's at least on your mind. Common misconceptions, and we'll end it with this slide. Next, we'll check in with some of the targets of those attacks and what industries those were in. But here, for the common misconceptions, a lot of small businesses think, hey, we got antivirus software, we're good. Or, hey, our data's in the cloud, so it's safe, Microsoft's got our back. Or, we're too small, no one wants us. But it's common misconception because a lot of companies have machines that are either operating slow, or their bandwidth is being utilized and no one's there, or something is happening. So you've got to take a look at this, folks. You got to make sure that you've got really good up-to-date software. And we're going to be talking about that in the next videos to come, the different types of software that you can use to help keep your endpoints protected, what is out there, and how you should go about integrating that into your organization and not just bolting on, hey, let's grab the latest and the greatest and put it in. That's not how security works. So thanks for tuning in, and stay tuned. Next week or so, we'll have another video, and we look forward to seeing you then.